Seiko is a Japanese maker of watches, clocks, electronic devices, semiconductors, jewelry, and optical products. Founded in 1881 by Kintarō Hattori in Tokyo, Seiko introduced one of the first quartz watch with a chronograph complication. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button for more content like this. Now let's see the top 13 Seiko watches to buy in 2022. Number 13, Seiko 5 Sports SKX Sports Style GMT watches. Price $475. By tweaking its 4R series of automatic movements to offer GMT functionality, Seiko changed the entire GMT watch scene. These are now quite possibly the most affordable automatic GMTs on the market, but they also look fantastic, to boot. Based on the solid foundation of the Seiko 5 Sports series that we love, they also incorporate features like bicolor, rotating 24-hour bezels, a Cyclops magnifier over the date window, and a Jubilee-style bracelet. T0 further distinguish them. Its movement is Seiko 4R34 automatic with diameter of 42.5 mm and water resistance of 50 m. Number 12, Seiko Pressage Cocktail Time Star Bar Limited Edition SRPH 78. Price $495 and limited edition of 5,500 pieces. If you want a classically styled automatic watch packed with character for not a ton of money, you'll want to at least consider the beloved Seiko Cocktail Time. Like other models in the series, this new version takes aesthetic cues from specific drinks mixed at the Star Bar in Tokyo. Based on an original cocktail by the bar's owner called the Hojo, the gold-toned watch's highlight is its frost-like textured dial. Its movement is Seiko 4R35 automatic with diameter of 40.5 mm and water resistance of 50 m. Number 11, Seiko 5 Sports Brian May Limited Edition SRPH 80. Price $595 and limited edition of 12,500 pieces. Seiko first made a special edition watch for Queen guitarist Brian May in 2020. With the same design based on the rocker's handmade guitar, the new version for this year adds a gold case coating, matching dial highlights, and an appropriate NATO strap. The Seiko 5 Sports line might generally be the brand's most affordable line, but examples like this show that details, look closely at that dial texture, can elevate these typically affordable watches. The price is elevated, too, bringing it right into the territory of the brand's Presage and Prospex lines. For Seiko and Queen fans, though, there's surely still a lot of value. Its movement is Seiko 4R36 automatic with diameter of 42.5 mm and water resistance of 100 m. Number 10, seikoprospexarnie with bracelet. Price $760. New versions of the Anna Digi watches made famous by Arnold Schwarzenegger in 80s action movies offer new versions with some case and dial layout changes, and, for the first time, steel bracelets. There are blacked out steel versions and new options on a strap as well, and all are solar powered. Its movement is Seiko Solar H855 with diameter of 46.9 mm and water resistance of 200 m. Number 9, Seiko Prospex Heritage Turtle Diver Series. Price $800. Combining multiple familiar elements from Seiko's historic dive watches, there's general consensus that the brand really nailed it with its newest retro recreation. It's got elements from the 62 Moss and the Willard, both of which have pretty great modern interpretations. But what's got people most excited about these models? The combination of that classic Seiko diver look and a case measuring 41 mm wide and just 12.3 mm thick. That makes these new watches, initially available in 3 versions, the brand's slimmest divers yet. Its movement is Seiko 6R35 automatic and water resistance of 200 m. Number 8, Seiko Prospects Black Series Limited Editions. Price $1,200 and limited edition of 5,500 pieces. Night diving is a great way to enjoy a completely different experience of the sea from that of diving in the daytime. Many divers are fascinated by the mysterious world of the ocean at night, making this recreational activity popular around the world. The black case expresses the darkness and silence of the night ocean, and the orange color is inspired by the lights that illuminate it. The orange accents across the watch capture the light that shines under the sea at night. The hour markers and hands are coated with Lumibrite to ensure high legibility in the darkest of conditions. Its movement is Seiko 6R35 automatic, 8L35 automatic with diameter of 40.5 mm and water resistance of 200 m. Number 7, Seiko Prospex Save the Ocean SPB 299. Price $1,250. Professional sports watches for extreme conditions. The Prospex Sports Watch Collection, the name stands for professional specifications, is one of the most popular series from the Japanese watch giant Seiko. Watch fans the world over have come to know the typical Seiko quality, reliability, and outstanding value for money this series delivers. The wide selection of diving watches are particularly popular among the Seiko fan community, who have given these timepieces nicknames like the Sumo, Tuna, Samurai, or Turtle. The Prospex line, however, offers more than just diving watches. One example includes watches from the Alpinist series, whose designs are inspired by timepieces Seiko specifically developed in the 1960s. Its movement is Seiko 6R35 automatic with diameter of 40.5 mm and water resistance of 200 m. Number 6 Seiko Pressage SPB 293, price $1,700. The watches in Seiko's Pressage collection featuring Arita porcelain dials always feel a little special, and this monochromatic new model was introduced alongside the SPB 319 with a pale blue dial execution. Arita is a style of porcelain named after the place in Japan where it's produced. Though at the upper ranges of the Pressage collection, its interesting features, Seiko's famous build quality and one of the brand's relatively premium automatic movement of Seiko 6R31 automatic with diameter of 40.5 mm and water resistance of 100 m. Number 5 Kingseikocollection, price $1,700. Seiko once again delighted, confused and polarized fans, this time with the King Seiko reintroduced as a modern collection. Another sub-brand from the watchmaker's history, King Seiko was created in the 1960s to actually compete with the brand's own higher-end Grand Seiko watches. Based on the vintage KSK watch, the new King Seiko watches feel positioned somewhere between Pressage and Grand Seiko with retro looks, thin 37mm cases, box-style sapphire crystal and the brand's workhorse automatic movement of Seiko 6R31 automatic and water resistance of 100 m. Number 4 Seiko Pressage Craftsmanship Series Urishi Lacquer SPB 295. Price $1,900 and limited edition of 2,000 pieces. Seiko has made a number of lacquer dial watches, nodding to the Japanese craft. This model has a deep green hue and it's applied to one of the brand's traditionally styled watches in its Pressage collection. But it also features a movement offering the displays of the date, day of the week and power reserve via retrograde scales right on the dial. The density of information lends an otherwise dressy style of watch a more busy and intriguing aesthetic. Gold highlights lend it some warmth. The dials are finished using an innovative manufacturing method that directly combines metal with Urishi and traditional craftwork techniques that produce a smooth surface. As Urishi continues to harden without solidifying, it does not deteriorate and its durability continues to increase with time. The Urishi applied to the dial must have a beautiful luster, yet be thick enough not to interfere with the movement of the hands, requiring a high level of skill to produce. Traditional Japanese crafts using Urishi are highly valued worldwide for their beauty and practicality. The Urishi dial, crafted by Tamura, is an expression of his aesthetic sense and is a fusion of traditional craftwork techniques handed down from generation to generation with modern manufacturing technology. Its movement is Seiko 6R24 automatic with diameter of 40.5 mm and water resistance of 100 m. Number 3 Seiko Prospect Speedtimer SRQ041, price $3,250 and limited edition of 400 pieces. Seiko is emphasizing its historical and current involvement in sports timing. The 2022 World Athletics Championships in Oregon, Seiko reintroduced its modern speed timer collection last year, and this limited edition features a cool mix of sand pattern dial texture, sporty yellow highlights and contrasting subdials. It's a good start for Seiko getting back in the automatic chronograph game. Its movement is Seiko 8R46 automatic with diameter of 42.5 mm and water resistance of 100 m. Number 2 Seikoprospex 1968 Divers modern reinterpretation. SLA 057, price $4,600 and limited edition of 1,300 pieces. There are affordable as well as higher end versions of Seiko's 1968 Divers modern reinterpretation watches. This is the latter, and it includes features like the brand's famous Zaratsu polishing and a premium movement which is based on movements typically found in Grand Seiko watches. Its movement is Seiko 8L35 automatic with diameter of 42.6 mm and water resistance of 200 m. Number 1 Seiko Prospects LX US. Special Edition SNR 051. Price $5,500. You can get an excellent sport watches from Seiko at just about any budget, but the LX series is arguably the most serious and zero compromise option. Grand Seiko dive watches might add a touch more luxe, But that's not necessarily what you need in a tool watch. With a titanium case and spring drive movement, this aviation-themed watch features a GMT complication and aesthetic cues meant to reference the lunar surface. Its movement is Seiko Spring Drive 5 or 66 automatic with diameter of 44.8 mm, water resistance of 100 meters. If you enjoyed the video, then like and subscribe for more content like this.